This video contains spoilers. If you have not played Alisa, I recommend playing it first. You have been warned. Resident Evil, a game created by Capcom in 1996, established the standard for horror games known as survival horror. The franchise has evolved into massive success it is today, with Resident Evil 9 on its way. Meanwhile, smaller indie developers have embraced this formula and created their own spiritual successors to the original game. Today we'll be examining one of these titles, Alisa, a game created by Casper Croes that was released in 2021. This game evokes many vibes of the original Resident Evil, but is it a good game? Let's find out. The premise of Alisa is quite a simple one. We play as Alisa, a military woman on a mission with her partner Jean to locate a spy who has stolen important blueprints. Alisa and Jean track the spy to an abandoned village, and once they find him, they give chase. But Jean gets hurt, prompting Alisa to pursue the spy alone. During her chase, she encounters large doll-looking creatures that overwhelm her and drag her underground. When Alisa wakes up, she discovers that she's wearing different clothing and is inside a large mansion filled with attacking dolls. As she explores her surroundings, she encounters Paul, who informs her that she is in a place called the Dollhouse. He tells her that she needs to find these items called Toothwheels to help ensure her survival. With this information, Alisa decides to figure out how to escape the dollhouse, teaming up with Paul and a few other characters along the way. The overall story of Alisa is quite straightforward, featuring numerous characters and lore elements that are building towards a larger universe, including notes and pages of certain characters and certain situations. Additionally, there are several callbacks to Resident Evil as well.
I was almost a sandwich.
Now, let's discuss the aspect that ties this game together, the gameplay. Alisa's gameplay is a clear throwback to classic survival horror. It features tank controls, which can be adjusted, fixed camera angles, and limited ammunition for weapons, as well as combat elements as well. In this game, however, the main currency is Toothwheels. Unlike other games that focus on managing ammunition and healing items, Toothwheels serves as your primary resource throughout each playthrough. Every enemy drops Toothwheels, and you can find them scattered throughout the world. Toothwheels are mainly used at Paul's shop, where you can purchase weapons, ammunition, and dresses that provide various stats based on what you wear. For instance, some dresses increase your defense, while others enable you to swim faster or even transfer you to a demon that can throw fire at enemies. My favorite dress is the Nurse Dress, which allows melee attacks to heal you. This feature makes melee weapons my preferred choice in the game. However, Toothwheels are a limited resource since enemies do not respawn after you kill them. This makes budgeting your Toothwheels very important because once they're gone, they're gone. Hell, even saving requires Toothwheels.
Thank you.
There are also puzzles in the game, but to be honest, this was the weakest part for me. Some puzzles really don't seem straightforward. For example, there's this clock puzzle that requires us to use a pulse meter to tame a 4-digit code. The problem is that the digits we receive in the sequence are not in order, which means we have to create numerous 4-digit combinations until we find the right one. There's also this wall crushing puzzle which we have to solve, this bolt lock, but the issue is that there's just not enough time to solve this puzzle, which just results in a lot of cheap deaths. Some of the puzzles in the game are fine for the most part, but some of them could have been a lot better. Finally, the last thing I want to discuss is New Game Plus, which offers a wealth of content after you finish the main game. In this mode, you can acquire new weapons, new outfits, and gain access to a shop featuring the devil of all characters. This shop includes a spin wheel that provides even more opportunities to obtain more weapons. There is a significant amount of backtracking and many hidden secrets that extend the gameplay time, along with different endings that we will explore later. Overall, the gameplay in Alisa is a highlight for me. If you've ever played a survival horror game, Alisa will check all the boxes for you. Now let's discuss some of the enemies and bosses that you will encounter. The first major threat in the game isn't an actual boss, but rather a significant obstacle, and that is Barbara. She is searching for her daughter and mistakenly believes that we are her child. Barbara stalks Alisa in a manner similar to Mr. X, constantly trying to capture her. However, once she passes through a door, she disappears. The first major boss is Pierre Edisman, who serves as the doctor for the dollhouse. He experimented with the dolls and chemicals, resulting in many of the creations we see in the dollhouse. His fight's very straightforward, with Edisman controlling a machine that has swinging hammers and boxing gloves that spring out to attack Alisa. There are also doll arms that holds Alisa in place, which can be problematic. After shooting the machine until it explodes, Edisman then attacks directly. After shooting him a couple times, he ultimately falls. Overall, it was a pretty straightforward boss fight. What makes Pierre really important is that after you defeat him, you unlock his shop. This shop provides access to doll modifications that significantly enhance Alisa. These upgrades include abilities such as dodging, unarmed melee combat, auto-aim, new cosmetics, increased defense, and super strength, which allows Alisa to run with heavier weapons. The next boss fight features Edith, a giant mermaid doll who primarily controls the water sections of the game. We must defeat her to obtain the gold medallion needed to progress. We can receive assistance in this battle by helping another doll named Elise, who aids Alisa throughout her journey by retrieving her lost leg and returning it back to her. The boss fight with Edith is straightforward. She attacks using her trident, either by throwing it or engaging at close range. Additionally, she can throw fish that attacks from a distance and performs a charge attack. Alisa is valuable in this fight as she throws knives and can attack Edith, providing Alisa opportunities to do damage. However, you should be cautious with Elise as she can die during this fight, which may affect certain endings in the game. If you shoot Edith enough times, she will explode to glass shards, marking the end of this relatively simple boss fight. The next boss fight features Isabel Flora, the queen of the Iron Garden. In this battle, she primarily uses her shield and sword. Isabel also has a charge attack where she runs towards Alisa, knocking her down to the ground, as well as a AoE attack that summons Iron Thorns. I have found using melee weapons is very effective for this fight, as most of her attacks are less effective at close range and tends to be relatively slow. With enough damage, she will fall. However, after that happens, Alisa gains a vision from Isabella, revealing a colorful garden that transforms to the Iron Garden that it currently is. The next boss fight is Alvarez, the man responsible for stealing blueprints and the main reason why we're here. He mocks Alisa throughout her time in the dollhouse. However, when we meet him in the chapel, he has taken on the role of king within the dollhouse and has lost interest in the blueprints. He attempts to kill Alisa, but by taming one of his machine gun birds and destroying another, we begin the fight. The boss fight strikingly resembles an engine-style encounter. As he shoots arrows at Alisa, we as players control a cursor to shoot him. The fight is challenging because the machine gun bird has a large hitbox, making it easy for arrows to hit it. Taking too many hits will result in a game over. Overall, due to the pacing of this boss fight, I have to say this is my favorite boss fight in the game. After taking enough hits, he falls and he tells Alisa that the dollhouse drives people crazy. He explained that there is a figure which possesses unearthly power, protects this place. He urges Alisa to destroy it using an incomplete bomb, which will allow her to escape. He also reveals that her emperor intends to use the blueprints for nefarious purposes. Although Alisa is skeptical, Alvarez insists that she needs to know the truth and informs her that there are others out there who can help her understand. After crafting the bomb, Alisa faces the final boss, the Dollmaster. He stalks her during the crafting process and controls the puppets of Pole and Edmiston. As the master behind the entire dollhouse, he tries to prevent Alisa from escaping. The Dollmaster has a very straightforward yet powerful attacks, including long-reaching strikes and a command grab that inflicts significant damage. He can also create and summon enemies to aid him in the battle with Toothwheels, which we gave him earlier. However, after taking enough hits, he eventually falls, and with his defeat, we move on to the 4 different endings of the game. The first ending features Alisa escaping from the dollhouse just as it explodes, knocking her unconscious. Moments later, we see Jean, who is alive, speaking to the unconscious Alisa. He tells her that he wasn't hurt earlier, which sparks a lot of confusion. Alisa then wakes up in a house and finds a note explaining the truth about the blueprints. Although the content of the note remains a mystery, as the cutscene ends, we see a Toothwheel rolling out from underneath the bed. The next ending is triggered by purchasing one of the doll mods from Edmondson. In this scenario, Alisa is pulled back by one of the doll creatures just before the bomb goes off, causing her to become trapped inside the dollhouse. Later, now as a doll, she is seen playing the piano, but the dollhouse begins to crumble, which allows her to escape. During her escape, a sniper takes out the dolls as they're escaping and nearly shoots Alisa, but ultimately does not. And sure enough, the sniper turns out to be no other than John himself. The next two endings involve Alisa obtaining all the doll mods and whether or not Alisa is saved or not. If Alisa collects all the doll mods but does not save Alisa, she becomes the new Dollmaster, with Paul, Edison, and the rest of the dolls now serving under her. If Alisa collects all the mods and saves Alisa, a similar outcome occurs, but only this time Alisa hands Alisa the crown, while Barbara looks on eerily, concluding Alisa's story. Overall, Alisa was a very fun game, all things considered. With Casper Croes working on a spin-off game titled Alisa Departing, which features co-op gameplay with Jean as the main protagonist, I can't wait to see what's in store for this series. I'll be the first one in line, and when it comes out, I'll make a video on it as soon as I can. On that note, it's been the Kozmic Man. Thank you guys so much for watching. The next video might be a long one, but it's definitely overdue. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all all very soon. Take care.
What are you hoping to accomplish? Without me, you're just hollow. You're pathetic. You need fear to motivate you.